Welcome to Conversations. I'm Muqtedar, your host, and today I'm going to talk to you about an article published about my former home state, Telangana. I am originally from Hyderabad, and so it was very interesting to see this rather flattering article about Hyderabad and Telangana state. It says the article was published in the current issue of The Economist. The article is titled Why India Should Create Dozens of New States. The success of Telangana, the youngest, shows the benefits. So the article basically was trying to argue that the success of Telangana as a state is perhaps a new model for India for development and growth. Now, I have some thoughts about this article. I mean, I'm delighted, obviously, because I'm from Hyderabad. But I think the article, while correct, does not tell the full story. There is more success and more of achievements for the city of Hyderabad and the state of Telangana than the economists recognize. So I want to talk to you about that. But before that, if you have not already subscribed to Conversations, do subscribe to Conversations, like this video, press the bell icon. And once you have finished watching, do share it with your socio-political network. So let me read out to you a couple of paragraphs from the article to summarize basically what they are saying about the state of Telangana. They say, a decade ago, the Union of India welcomed into its fold its newest member, the state of Telangana. At that time, it was the 29th state. Kashmir has been relegated to the status of a union territory, so India is back to 28 states right now. And the Economist says that at that time, the state of Telangana ranked 12th by population, 11th by area, and 10th by per person income, per capita GDP was 10th. So it was clearly among the top 1/3 of the country in terms of prosperity already, because Hyderabad and Telangana had seen, Andhra Pradesh had seen significant development even in the 1990s. But still, it was still not what it is today. So obviously, what they're trying to say is that by last year, Telangana had shot up to boast the highest per person income of any decent-sized state. So basically, Telangana became the third state in India with regards to per person income, only behind Sikkim and Goa. So those are tiny states, Sikkim and Goa, and so as a middle-sized state, Telangana had become. So basically, it moved from number 10 to number 3 in the last 10 years. So that is not all. They also point out that with just 2.7% of India's population, its share of the country's annual GDP is now nearly fifth to. It has increased to the 5th rank. It is now 4.8%. So basically, they're contributing double of the population. So Hyderabad, it is economic powerhouse, is a multilingual, multi-religious metropolis with an abundance of high-tech jobs, including the largest Amazon office anywhere. Microsoft and Google are expanding their already substantial presence in the city. It is also a pharma hub, and therefore, it is very attractive. Basically, it's there are 3 things about Hyderabad which are critical. One is education. Number 2 is the tech, the high-tech city and tech jobs, and its identity as a destination for foreign investments. And number 3, it's also become a pharma hub. So the city has become interestingly progressive and prosperous. Its culture is very attractive. It's more or less a very peaceful place. It's also quite relaxed in spite of the intense economic activities that take place in the city. I was in Hyderabad in the month of January, and I must say I was pleased, except for the fact that the traffic there is unbearable, but I think that is the case across the country. There are lots of flyovers, and the metro is also pretty good. And if you go into the newer sides of the city, the area that is called high-tech city, it clearly looks like a you're in a developed country. So no doubt the Hyderabad has developed a lot. But that is not all. The point that the Economist is trying to make is making 2 points. It's saying that it is the newness of Telangana and the small size which are fundamentally responsible for its success. It says because it is small, I don't know why size matters, because there are other smaller states in the northeast which are not doing as well as Telangana is doing. And so I'm not very sure that size is a significant factor, but the economist seems to think so, because they are comparing it to larger states like Uttar Pradesh, I guess, which are not developed in any sense of the word. But there are other bigger states like Maharashtra and Gujarat and Tamil Nadu, which are much bigger than Telangana and also are equally developed. The second point that the economist is trying to make is because Telangana is a new state, it basically gets to start afresh. So all the bureaucracy, all the government red tapeism that had existed in the prior state, all that is eliminated. And one of the reasons why Hyderabad became as good as Bangalore for destination for foreign companies and overseas tech jobs is because the government of the BRS party, which was in power for the 10 years. So one thing to be noted is that Hyderabad's success came with neither BJP or Congress in charge. So what happened is the state was able to get rid of all red tapeism and start afresh. And because it was starting afresh, it dropped all the old baggages. I don't know why states that are already existing need to be reborn in a different shape in order to be able to get rid of barriers to business, etc., that already exist. But nevertheless, that is their point, that is the newness of the state which has enabled it to have a kind of governance system. So the good governance that has contributed to Telangana's development and Hyderabad's amazing progress in just 10 years is attributed to the newness of the system and also manageable size, I guess. So they are recommending that India basically break up all the big states into smaller states and let them all start afresh, and perhaps that would be a recipe for more widespread good governance and more widespread progress and development all over the country. But there's something fundamental that they are missing. They're just telling you half the story. So let me attract and direct your attention towards a think tank in Hyderabad called the Center for Development Policy and Practice. This think tank has produced 2 reports which sort of summarize the success story of Telangana. The first report is called Agriculture in Telangana, From Plight to Pride. And the second one is the IT industry in Telangana. So I am going to quote a couple of sentences or passages from its director, Amirullah Khan, the research director, the observations that he has made. And then I will tell you what the Economist has really missed. So Amirullah Khan points out that basically the state of Telangana has 2 parts to it. It's a city of Hyderabad. It has no other major city. And then it has the entire rural side of Telangana, which was agriculturally quite underdeveloped. But what has happened in the last 10 years is that the government has done a lot in terms of essentially providing 2 utilities. Number one, that there is now electricity in every one of the 10,000 villages they have electricity 24 hours, and they have access to water. So water is available for irrigation, and there is electricity. So because in the past, the state of Andhra Pradesh was extremely dependent on the monsoons, they sometimes had only 1 crop a year because then there was not enough water. But now, because water is available all the year round, every day, and so is electricity, the farming has become much, much more intense, and therefore some farmers are able not only to have 1, but 3, 4 crops per year. And so Hyderabad and the Hyderabad region, the Telangana region, which used to rely on Andhra Pradesh for its rice, is now producing and exporting rice. So it has become a major agricultural hub and success. It is basically the rice bowl of the country today, which is quite stunning, really. So the other side of the story that the economists miss is the agricultural development of the non-Hyderabad Telangana. And so that is very critical, which means that the economic dividends are spread across the urban as well as the rural. So you're not poor if you're outside Hyderabad. You are just as prosperous, except that if you're in Hyderabad, you're associated either with the hospitality industry or the pharmaceutical industry or IT or education, higher education. But if you are in the rural area, you are essentially farming, and both have become a very successful enterprise. So I think the story the CDPP says about Telangana's success is an example of how people, because they have a new state which others expected would fail, have been motivated to perform and prove that. So the elite who were running the state of Telangana for the last 10 years, they wanted to prove that the demand for a separate state was justifiable. And by becoming the third richest state in terms of per person income in the country, the people of Telangana have proved that indeed in the past they were either suffering from bad governance or straight up discrimination. So it is important. That is the part of the story I think that the Economist misses. It is not the size or the newness of the state of Telangana which I think contributes. It is the good governance that stem from the desire for the state to essentially justify its existence. I'm not very sure whether states, like for example, I'm not sure whether Chhattisgarh, which is also a small new state, which was carved out of Madhya Pradesh, has had the same motivations and the same track record. So if you look at this map of India, the states are color-coded by their GDP per capita. So all the green states are states, the light green states. So the state of Telangana and the state of Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Gujarat, and in the north, Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand is doing well, so maybe Uttarakhand's story might be very similar to that of Telangana. I don't know much about that state. Maybe some other time I will do some research and talk about it. But if you look at those states, you can see from the color that their GDP per capita is between $4,000 to $5,000. India's GDP is around $2,800. So these states, all the green states, are clearly far above the national average in terms of per capita. The South clearly is more developed, more prosperous, more industrial, and also more peaceful than the red states that you see in the map. The red states have a per capita income between 1,000 to 2,000, which means that they are at least 70% or below of the national average when it comes to GDP per capita. This is basically the Hindi belt and also the heartland of the BJP, all the red states that you see. BJP does have a lot of influence in Karnataka and also Gujarat, but that is the heartland of the Hindi, basically the Hindi-speaking part of the country, where the GDP is below $2,000. There are two spots that you can see. One is Sikkim in far north and Goa, which are the only two states whose per capita income is the dark green, which is more than $5,000. So the rest of the country is between 4,000 and 5,000 in the south. And so you can see that there is a north-south divide in India. But what is interesting is to look at the former Andhra Pradesh and the division of the state. So if you look at Andhra Pradesh, it is pinkish, which means it's better than the red states, but not as good as the green states. So the per capita income of Andhra Pradesh is between 2,000 and 3,000. And the per capita income of Telangana is more than $3,000. So you can see that there is a clear difference in the economic performance of the two states who are now roughly of the same age. So this is an interesting story. Obviously, there's a personal bias here. I'm from Hyderabad, and I mean, the primary reason why I'm doing this conversation is because I was tickled pink, or rather tickled green, when I saw that article in The Economist. And so the thing that I like about the success story about Telangana is that the success came when it was being governed neither by BJP nor Congress, and it was being governed by a local party. The lesson probably that economists fail to draw is it's not just the size of the state, nor the newness of the state, but it is who governs the state that probably determines how it will develop and progress. So I hope you found this interesting. You can go and take a look at that article. I will share a link in the description of this video for those of you who want to read the Economist article. And so I hope you found this interesting. I hope Hyderabadis found it interesting. So please subscribe to Khanversations, like this video, press the bell icon, and share this video with your friends and colleagues. And I think today, India, by beating Bangladesh, has qualified for the semifinals. So congratulations to all of you. So we will talk more about cricket when we get to the knockout stage. So until next time, I'm your host, Muqtedar Khan. Take care.